everywhere, craziness, crime exploding. Sir, it's not just you. People are going crazy. But what types of folks are getting in your face?
Ironically, like most people might be automatically thinking, oh, he's going to say one thing or another. Like, what's ironic, it's mostly like 18 to 24, 25-year-old, I would say more privileged white males.
No, that's it. No. It's like a gibbering class, and they pose. It's like TV warped their mind. Because I walked out, and it was like 50, kids, and it was a nicer area of town we drove to see a movie, and they were all like posing and acting weird and like messing with each other. It isn't like I even looked at them, and I was like, yeah, that's the group hit me in the back of the head, with the sunglasses, with the 3D glasses, and they were all just, sir, it's just the end of society. This country's collapsing.
Literally, for the last 3 months, myself and of course my wife, because she actually has Native American status. After about 3 months, I would say about 3 months, honey, of handing out resumes, doing applications, no jobs, no callbacks. I actually had a gentleman from a security company tell me, because I was speaking to him about an application, that, if I'm U.S. Army, I might as well give up trying to find work in this area. And
that's because they think they've been told you're damaged goods serving 4, 5, 6 tours, which is not really true. Compared to the average public, you're not half as prone to be insane. They're just cowardly, insane people. Stay there. I'm going to come back to you.
Do you mind?
Look, what's happening is the system knows how to create false role models for young people. So whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter. On every show, the guy that gets the girl acts like a gibbering, idiotic, Arrested Development moron. And I was just talking to some of the crew. They say everywhere you go now, black, white, it doesn't matter. You have got people who will make fun of you, who will bump into you, who will slap at you. They're having epidemics of men in subways rubbing up against women and basically hunching on them. It's just we're turning into animals. You had this old white guy, 70-something years old, 78-year-old, looks like he's on not too long in this world, beat up by some black guys saying it was for Trayvon. But it's more than that. It's just beat up old people, start fights with adults. I mean, these people that are 16, 17 are already really adults. They would have been adults 100 years ago. And 100 years ago, if you did that to somebody, they would just pull a pistol out and shoot you. And the police wouldn't do anything because, well, you were seen affronting someone. That's why people are real polite in the South. Was because, in the old days, well, even just 50 years ago, you did something like that. And I don't think those kids, when they hit me in the back of the head with the sunglasses, they must have known who I was. Or then said something to me. Because we came in 2 cars. I kind of walked around with my wife by where her car was, came walking back down where mine was, and that's when they ran up behind me and all that. And I turned around to these guys. It's not that I'm Mr. Tough Guy. It's just, I was like, do they realize that, okay, let's say they're tough. They're going to get in a fight with somebody who weighs 230 pounds, and I'm pretty strong, and I don't look like a wimp, and they must be so disconnected from reality. They don't know who I am. They don't know if I'm a concealed weapon holder. They don't know if I'm some crazy, veteran, and by crazy, who's already willing to attack people. That's why young people don't like vets, and I've seen it myself. I've seen cases of it. On average, is because they want to think they're violent and powerful. And so the idea that somebody's a soldier, why they want to show you, because they're so used to shoving old people around and being mean to people at movie theaters and doing all this, and they think it's cowardice by older people that they're not responding to them. Those young punks, because there was a bunch of them, like 15 of them, they thought I was scared. The difference was it was so inviting to have 15 people in front of me. And I thought, well, if they attack me, I'm gonna really go Captain Caveman. And I mean, I'm not going to get off into it, but the point is they mistook the fact that I just turned and tried to walk away, and then they laughed that I was a coward because I was like, no, I got a family, I got a mission, I got to get the word out. But I mean, it would have been good for them to come up and hit me and teach them a lesson. Teach them a lesson. But tell us, as a veteran, if they see dog tags or you're wearing your jacket or whatever, what do they do to you? What is it that kind of stuff? Like, hey, tough guy, what you gonna do? I mean, because they're all UFC viewers or whatever. What happens?
Well, the worst incident, and I mean, this is just from wearing dog tags. Like, it pretty much got to the point where me
and I understand you get used to wearing a wedding ring and get used to dog tags. It becomes part of you. You wear it. Tell us what happens. Tell us quickly.
Well, the worst example was me and my wife actually had gone out to a local grocery store, and unfortunately, me and my wife we just lost a child, unfortunately, and so this was bad.
You just lost a child?
Recently,
a miscarriage, or after they were born?
Miscarriage, sir.
Okay, so you're at the store.
And unfortunately, my dog tags were out of my shirt, and one of the older ladies who was working and gathering carts decided she would, lovingly yell the word "baby killer" at me. So, of course, this was great timing for this. I mean, I pretty much at that point just, walked out and said, I'll be in the car, because at that point, it's getting to the point where even I'm ready to snap, but I won't.
But I'll guarantee you that woman loves Obama, who's launching more wars. They just want to feel like they're good and call you a baby killer when they're the people that let this country go into these illegal wars. And so instead, they just like to blame the soldiers.
Oh, people just love to find that one thing they can focus on so they don't have to focus on anything else.
Listen, I was at the beach, and there was a biker rally, and usually bikers seem like nice folks, but this was a big... I was there with little children and had guys bow up and act tough and pull their motorcycles in when I was... they have these plant pots out there by this little street, and they were pulling their bikes into park between the plant pots, and they drove in, and I looked at the guy, had my 3-year-old daughter holding my hand, and I almost killed the guy. I mean, I'm sorry, I'll just grab him and bang his brains out. It's not hard. And the guy didn't understand. I was about to kill him. And I looked at him, and he tried to act tough, and then he backed off. But, I mean, they don't understand. I just can't take it anymore. It's a bunch of gang-type scum, and they make me want to throw up. We got a guest coming up, but I'm sorry, sir.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run.
Bruce Schneier is our guest for the next 25 minutes or so, and then I will have nothing but your phone calls and key news, I promise, in the third hour today. Those of you that are holding, Robert, Otter, Michael, Carl, Jonathan, and others that are joining us today. Now, I wanted to get Bruce Schneier on because we ran an article. It was also in the Associated Press as well. TSA blocks security expert from testifying to Congress. Lawmakers slam agency for treating Americans like prisoners and cattle. We've now in the last week seen the ad they ran looking for imperious people. That means imperial, bossy, overbearing, dominant. And we've also, in the last week, had TSA caught running sex rings, child porn, rapes. And I saw a report that hundreds of people, over 200 people, have their bags robbed per week at JFK. Well, my daughter's 7 now, and she was newborn. I had to go to New York to do a speech and some things. And I went to Tiffany's. I'm not a jewelry person, but I bought a rattle, a teething ring, and another teething ring. And they just opened the little box in the bow to check it, make sure it wasn't a bomb, and stole one of them. Didn't take the other 2. They just liked how that looked. So I guess I should be thankful they only took that. After all, they've got a stressful job. They deserve to rob me. But the reason that we have security expert Bruce Schneier on with us today is because, well, he was blocked from telling Congress what he wanted, because I guess what TSA wants, they get. Obama can launch wars without congressional approval. And he now says the Supreme Court doesn't matter. So it's kind of like the TSA tells Congress who gets to have speeches. In fact, I saw an article yesterday where Congress was trying to find out about this new NSA base in Utah, and they were told you're not allowed to know. Really, Congress? Co-equal or above the president? I mean, we got problems here, so that's a sidebar. But TSA blocks security expert from testifying to Congress. Lawmakers slam agency for treating Americans like prisoners and cattle. The TSA ensured that a leading security expert who has been vocally critical of the agency's screening methods was barred from speaking before congressional hearing. The hearing before the House Committee on the Oversight and Government Reform was held Monday in an effort to evaluate the agency's performance and address concerns raised by lawmakers, experts in the field, and members of the public. Bruce Schneier is an internationally renowned security technologist and author, was scheduled to testify before the TSA security screening, but was formally uninvited at the last minute following a complaint by the agency. And he'll tell us what happened to him here and what he would have said to Congress that's been censored, but now here reaching 3 million people. Sir, thank you for coming on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, tell us about yourself and what happened here.
So there was a hearing on the TSA on basically whether they're worth it, whether they're effective, and this is mostly about their new measures, the full body scanners, the spot program that looks for people who are not acting right. I mean, a bunch of things. And I was one of the 4 witnesses scheduled. And at the Friday before the Monday hearing, I got a call from one of the staffers who's running the hearing asking about the lawsuit. And there's a lawsuit right now, Epic versus the TSA. I'm one of the plaintiffs, and we're trying to get the TSA to follow the law with respect to full body scanners. Has to do with a public comment period and certain documents they have to make public. I mean, this is law, and we're just trying to get the TSA to follow it. Anyway, the TSA objected, and the excuse they used that it wouldn't be appropriate for us to be sitting at the same table because I'm a part of that lawsuit. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but in any case, the people who ran the hearing decided that they wanted the TSA there, which means I was uninvited. Which is, I mean, really a pity because I would have liked to have been at the table of the TSA. I spent a lot of time criticizing them, and, you know, they have the luxury of not actually responding. I mean, they could ignore me, they could respond to pieces of me, but it would have been neat to be at a table and say, hey, answer this question. And then if they didn't, say, you didn't answer the question and try again. I mean, that would have been sort of fun, but I didn't get to do that.
Now, they're also famous, as you know, for claiming John Hopkins says there's no radiation danger. And then the head of the radiology department goes, we never said that in our report. We said the opposite. Or they're famous for saying, we've done all the radiology testing. We've got, you know, radiation officers. You're supposed to wear a badge like somebody at a dental office or doctor's office. Turned out that was a lie. They said they'd given Congress years ago the data. That was a lie. They said they didn't save the images. That was a lie. They said that they weren't groping people, weren't strip searching old ladies. That was a lie. I mean, this is the only group I know of that's rumored to lie more than the TSA is the devil.
Well, I mean, the problem is that airports are really extra constitutional zones now. There are things that happen there that would never happen out in the real world. And, you know, this is just one example. There's a lot of dispute about the radiation levels. There are some people that do the math and say it's okay, but that math doesn't take into account that this is all skin radiation. Once you look at that, it's not okay. The problem is we don't have the data. I mean, this isn't security data. This isn't how well the machines work to detect plastic explosives. This is safety data.
And they never release it. That's a good point you're making. So what were you going to testify to that they blocked?
Yes. I mean, if you put this exact machine in a hospital, it would be illegal because we just don't know how safe they are. So, you know, in some ways, in this instance, I just want the TSA to do something perfectly reasonable. Release safety data, allow researchers to test them for safety before we start irradiating, you know, millions of Americans. It just seems plausible to ask. And, you know, in like so many things were blocked. The TSA is required by law to ask for a public comment period before deploying this technology. They didn't. We went to the courts. The court said you have to do that. They haven't. Now, just one of many things that once you get to the airport, you just don't have the rights you have as a citizen elsewhere in the country.
And now they're setting the precedent with that to expand it. TSA hardened bulletproof checkpoints, highway checkpoints, bus terminals, train stations. Now they're saying the IRS will be over it, and if you haven't paid your taxes, you won't be able to travel. This is the internal checkpoint passport that, of course, was so famous in Nazi Germany and Stalinist Russia. I mean, it's like they're following an authoritarian list, and